Hey Singapore, welcome to another edition of In Your House right here on Get Active TV. My guest today is a former national athlete who represented Singapore in the sport of bodybuilding. He also won the National Bodybuilding Championships 4 years in a row from 2007 to 2010, and in 2010 he was also crowned Mr. Singapore. Today he is a business entrepreneur with ownerships and partnerships in a gym as well as an integrated fitness company and even a cat cafe. And you can see one cat just behind our guest. My guest today is Kevin Chiak. Welcome to In Your House.
Hi, Raj. Good
Hey,
morning, everyone. Hey, thanks, Raj, for putting me in the show.
no worries. It's our pleasure. And thank you for inviting us into your cat kingdom. We'll talk about catopia in just a bit.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. So Kevin, today is the end of 8 weeks of the circuit breaker.
Mm.
Yeah. So 2 months you've been at home. How have you been mentally as well as maybe emotionally?
Uh, well, I guess right now what I feel is a lot of anxiety, right? I anticipate market recovery, and I'm very excited for the things to come.
Mm.
When we all had it so easy, now that we've lost it for that short while, and I say most of us will learn to treasure it, when it's given back to us. This so-called freedom, right?
Mm.
Um, yeah, but otherwise, for these 2 months, the thing that really I find that's troubling me,
Mm.
it's not being able to eat where we want. It's so unnatural. In
Mm.
Singapore, food is just a stone throw away, right?
Because we are food
Everywhere there's
paradise.
food going. Yeah, exactly.
Mm.
But otherwise, right now, it's so inconvenient to eat. You
Mm.
can't eat out. You either have to buy it back home, or
Take away order.
yeah, deliveries.
Mm. Mm. Okay. So that's the one thing that has annoyed you in all these eight
Oh
weeks.
yes, 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 terribly. We
Okay.
live to eat and eat to live.
Mm. True. Okay. Yeah, you don't live to eat. Correct. Eat to live. Um, so as a single man yourself, just like myself, the so how do you keep yourself, active and keep your mind busy, considering that, like you said, we are unable to go out, meet our friends in person, and just do any form of physical contact with anybody. So how have you been able to do that 8 weeks in a row?
Well, I guess even for those who live in a big family with lots of people in the house, after a while, you get too frustrated as well, right? Especially if they have kids and the kids too close for comfort, they're making
Yeah.
noise almost like, half the time or all the time when they're awake. So I guess there are moments we really wish to be alone and having sometimes that privilege because I live in a very small kind of a family. So in a way, even if you have people, you can feel lonely. But as far as I'm concerned, I don't really feel that way. You
Hmm.
know, all this while, I always wish that there was 48 hours, in the day, because 24 hours is just not enough.
Hmm.
And I love to read for pleasure, and I love to read to learn. So sometimes within 24 hours, you want to learn and you want to have pleasure. It's
Hmm.
just not enough time. Plus, we have to go out to work. So during this period, I get to do both, which is like I think it's a blessing in disguise.
Hmm. And you love the concept of the fortress of solitude, your own little. Yes.
Yes, yes. I mean, although I've been in the attention of many people many a times, I really do enjoy being alone,
Hmm.
have my own me time, to do what I want,
Hmm.
and not talk to anybody sometimes.
Hmm. Now, Kevin, as a professional who has a long history in bodybuilding and sports physique, I assume you have a sort of a workout routine at home within the four walls, especially during this CB period.
Well, uh, Well, being a professional and expert in strength resistant exercises, right? I mean, we use that basically a regime to shape up our body. It's not just getting fit or strong, but otherwise to shape the body, right? So nothing beats proper gym equipment and safety and the efficacy of the machines. So doing body weight exercises at this point is just to bridge it over this short period, right? But otherwise, I'm still using it to increase the intensity by adjusting angles, inclining the body, doing a reverse kind of motion in order to combine the different exercises so as to pre-exhaust a certain muscle groups. So it will not surface growth in the muscles, but otherwise it will still be a good a bridging kind of exercise routine.
Yeah, I mean, while you were explaining, we saw some of the exercises that you were doing at home.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
it may
yeah.
look like a normal exercise at home, but otherwise, if you know how to basically concentrate, right, it's all about muscle and mind connection. So if you know how to focus, the exercise becomes different.
Okay. Like you say, we eat to live. So, based on the situation with the food at home, are you cooking or has it been more of a takeaway most of the time during these 8 weeks?
Well, I would say I'm doing both, but otherwise, most of the time it's takeaway, for convenience sake. And these days, there's lots of healthy food variety out there as well. So it's easy to basically get to have a healthier choice, right? It's just a matter of whether you can resist temptation or not. When you open up the app, there's just so much food and so many varieties. And when everybody else cannot sell or eat or dine in, right? Everybody is implementing the takeaway model. So you have even more variety than the usual. But otherwise, for convenience sake, yeah, I do a lot of deliveries.
Okay. Um, you and I go back close to 13, 14 years since, when I was still a sports reporter, you were representing the country in the sport of bodybuilding and then
Yeah.
onto sports physique. But I never knew that you had this soft side to you where, you know, underneath that lean, mean board that you have, you love cats. So where
Yeah.
is this fascination of cats come from?
Well, in general, I love animals, right?
Oh,
But
okay.
otherwise, cats was probably within the last 5 to 6 years when I started feeding the stray cats and the community cats, right? And then after that, when I see some of them, I felt that they need a home, so I adopted some. And as I adopt some, it became more. It's an addiction. Because cats are easier to maintain, they're easier to take care. Because most of the time they can take care of themselves. They groom themselves very well, more than you and I. So eventually, I got 10 cats. Yeah, I'm not a hoarder, but otherwise, I have 10 cats. And when I need to travel, I find that there was something missing. I could have the cat sitter come in, but otherwise, they spend just that 45 minutes to an hour with them, which is not enough. I mean, they are very independent, but that doesn't mean that they deserve less time, right? So I created a sort of like a cat kind of a staycation where cats can come in and stay as well when their owners are abroad or if they are having renovations at home. But otherwise, it helps me to create more revenue generating kind of a purpose so that I can help more cats. So eventually, I have quite a lot of rescue cats that comes in. Those are saved by the rescuers, uh, and I give them a concession rate so that they can maintain because a lot of them basically have to fork out money from their own pocket. So they're all in this. In fact, they're doing greater things than I am doing right now, so that they can be ready for adoption. But otherwise, in Singapore standards, rental is not going to be cheap. So while cat boarding is the main activity is not enough. So I'm in the midst of basically setting up a cat cafe as well. So the cat cafe could basically make a little bit more money to
Hmm.
feed cats. And of course, a chance for people to come and visit and play with the cats, bring their cats so that they can socialize with the other cats.
Hmm.
And also, in our plans is also to have kind of set up therapy sessions for people who are stressed up, for people who are mentally and physically, sort of like disabled. So
Hmm.
we're going to work with some other bodies basically to do this.
Hmm.
It's going to be exciting, but otherwise, uh, at this point, I think the thing about bodybuilding about it's always about myself, right? Building myself, my body, how well I look, I compete myself on stage. But otherwise, right now, I think there is more purpose for me in life is
Hmm.
to give to others, and what best if I could basically give it to animals and to humans as well.
And the name of the cat cafe is right on your T-shirt. Is that it?
Oh yeah. It's Catopia. So I adopted this name because it's pretty cute. So Catopia is also sort of the name of the event with the Cat Wellness Society. You
In
know.
Singapore?
Yeah, that's
Oh,
right.
okay.
So
Okay.
this T-shirt basically is like a fundraising kind of a thing. I
Hmm.
bought it, and since my company for this cat business is called Catopia, so yeah, why
Hmm.
not?
Okay. And remember, what's the, we said Catopia, what's the hashtag? The
Is hashtag Catopia Cafe.
the marketing tagline before the
Marketing tagline, it's basically it's a utopia for cats. So it's Catopia.
yeah, utopia for cats, Singapore. Um, so how does so it's a cat cafe, and I believe, like you said, you were in the midst of renovations before the CB measures were implemented, and then everything came to a halt. But as of this week onwards, construction, I believe, can resume, if I'm not mistaken.
Not all
Ah,
really.
okay, okay,
'Cause, I think those are to basically finish the halfway work done before the circuit breaker.
right.
So I think it will resume and be allowable to do these renovations probably from the mid of this from June. Yeah, mid of June.
So when is Catopia available for business? Do you think end of July, August?
Well, hopefully beginning of July.
Hmm.
Otherwise, I forecast it to be most possible mid of July.
Okay. Is there an example, for example, if two people came in, boyfriend, girlfriend, they like cats, and they want to spend an hour. So, or they want to spend like 1 hour, and then they like it, they want to spend maybe 4 hours. So, how is your price structure like? For just as an example, you don't have to, you know.
Well, okay. Catopia Cafe is not going to be or rather, it's the first cat cafe. But there are already others that's been set up,
Hmm.
and all of us charge almost the same kind of a model.
Hmm.
You pay like, for example, $12 for the first hour.
Hmm.
So it's like a for entry kind of a thing. Then comes with a drink, with a hot
Hmm.
drink, a cold drink. So it's going to be in that style because you don't admit a lot of people into the
Yeah.
cafe, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? And most of the people that come don't come in a big group. It's not going to be a big buffet style where 20 people come at one go. But
Hmm.
otherwise, most of them are like they bring the children and or it's a couple. So it's usually in a very small group. Yeah. So we can only admit certain groups. That means that
Hmm.
earnings are limited, so the entry would work well for that sense. And of course, as everybody know, in a normal cafe, you just feed the business. But otherwise, in a cat cafe, when you come, you feed the cat as well.
Hmm. Okay. But knowing cats and their diva like their attitudes where they are sometimes moody, they are unpredictable. So I'm just because I've never been to a cafe before, so I'm just trying to visualize how the cats will behave when every day, or every few hours, they meet different strangers, and strangers who want to just hold them and touch them and play with them. How do you think the cats will react?
Well, actually, they're not as unpredictable as they appears to be. I'm learning to communicate with them, and of course, they have their wants and needs just like humans, right?
Yeah,
Uh, uh, Cats, in fact, is even more complex than dogs in the brain, right? This is biologically. Uh, and because of that, sometimes they portray as being moody as well.
mm.
But otherwise, cats that are basically allowed to mingle with people, a little bit more human friendly,
Mm.
they're more gentle.
Mm.
Of course, that will require a little bit of a training and exposure. But otherwise, I think in most cat cafes, the humans are advised to be a little bit more quiet, to not make abrupt movements, right?
Mm.
That basically will stress them out. So a cat cafe is going to be one that's a little bit of you can feel peacefulness and tranquility.
Nice, nice, Kevin. So from Catopia, we now transition to another of your business ventures. This is a partnership with a gym that's located at Skip. So with all gyms in Singapore closed since day one of the circuit breaker measures, how much of an impact has that had on your own operations, Kevin?
Well, it affected the business totally, right? Um, it was close since the government applied the circuit breaker,
Mm.
and even when it's going to be recovering, when it opens up, when it's going to be
Mm.
called recovery,
Mm.
right? It's going to take some time to really start seeing money coming in, because
Mm.
when we break, there were lots of membership dues and even personal training dues that is halfway through. So you need to finish that for it to renew, and that's where then you see money.
Yeah.
And as as any kind of business, you need marketing, and
Mm.
marketing will work immediately,
Mm.
right?
Mm.
It takes some time to take effect. So obviously, there's less marketing done within this period because there's no point marketing, and then you can't do anything about it. I mean, I have a few clients who potential clients that's waiting to start training, but because of this, it was put on a halt.
Mm.
Right? So this breakage basically will affect the whole revenue altogether.
Mm.
Obviously, viability is threatened. You
Mm.
know, we see a lot of reports of restaurants closing, close to
Yeah.
almost 40 of them. Um, there's even a
Yeah.
prediction that easily about 30 to 40% of them will close by the time it opens up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in the unlikely case that the gyms are forced to stay shut until perhaps maybe August, mid-August, is your own gym able to sustain, the operations, and what about the staff that were already at the gym? Do you have enough to keep it going?
Well, we're reaching the bottom of the pit. Let's put it that way.
Mm. Mm.
But even for myself, I am a hands-on trainer,
Yeah.
right? I make my living through training people as well. So without that, I'm not getting any revenue in.
Mm.
So yeah, it's tough. I even had some of my trainers who became, or rather at this point, is part of the front line right now. They pick
Mm.
up a security job,
Mm.
just to keep themselves afloat.
Mm.
Obviously, there are always more risks when they take up such a job, but otherwise, there's there's no choice, right? I mean,
Mm.
we have housing loans, car loans, even phone bills,
Mm.
electric bills,
Mm.
even Wi-Fi. We got to pay for it. So there are lots of operating costs, whether it's at work or at home.
Are you eligible for any assistance from the government in terms of
Well,
all
there
the
are apparently some that I'm supposed to be eligible, but otherwise, I haven't got it yet. So I'm writing into the authorities. But otherwise, apparently there is a grant for digitalizing the business.
Hmm.
We're looking into that. I think it's good because then
Hmm.
it helps us get prepared.
Hmm.
Well, if anything like this happened again,
Yeah.
maybe
Yeah.
COVID-19, the second wave,
Hmm.
or something else,
Hmm.
we took for granted that something like this would never happen.
Hmm.
And for that, in a way, we were punished.
Hmm. I think next to a war and the apocalypse, this is already considered being
Yeah,
forced to stay home.
not of just zombies walking around.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I think you can probably expect something like this will probably happen again. So, but next time, I think everybody will be much better prepared to handle this. Um, so you have your cat cafe and your gym, both hoping to restart the business in at least July or earlier. Uh, but your third mode of operation in this year is your main one. You are the founder of Fitness Movement. Perhaps you can tell us briefly what is FM briefly about.
Okay, well, in the past, we were known as Singapore Bodybuilding and Physique Sports Federation. But
Hmm.
eventually, we find that we need to evolve, right? We need to change a new front. Hence, the name of Fitness Movement was founded.
Hmm.
Also be a little bit more inclusive. We want to include people who just want to be fit,
Hmm.
right? Otherwise, in the past, a bodybuilding federation is all about just bodybuilding competition on stage. And when people hear that name, right, they get a little bit scared, right? Because
Hmm.
otherwise, bodybuilders are usually big and they diet a lot, so it scares people. But
Hmm.
right now, what we want to do is to advocate people into picking up fitness. So fitness at different level. That's also one of the reasons why we call ourselves an integrated fitness company,
Hmm.
because we not only do competitions, right? We also have elements of social enterprise, right? So we do give a little bit of a physical training and character building in some of these homes, like boys' home, girls' home.
Hmm.
And our most recent project was with the community rehab center,
Hmm.
right? And of course, that's on top of the individual training to the other people around or
Hmm.
on the streets.
Right.
Yeah. So that's why we call it an integrated fitness business. And obviously, right now, we are also going into the corporate level. We're doing a fitness retreat. So instead of the norm of team building, right? Your leg tied to mine, and we try to run and reach the finishing point. Why not do fitness together?
Hmm.
Learn, to cook healthier food, easy cooking, so that you don't have to rely on food elsewhere.
Hmm.
So things like that. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So
So
that's
that
what
is the whole.
it's all about.
Okay. I understand you had a major event that was planned for I think this 2 months, but it's been postponed. So, who has been impacted by that particular event, and is this event being deferred to the later part of the year?
So earlier on, I mentioned that we do different kind of events,
Hmm.
to meet different people,
Hmm.
and of course different age, because then muscles develop in time, and usually it take a long time. So we have competitions that is organized for the youth as well, right? So in July, we were supposed to have the physique showdown, which is basically geared towards the younger generation,
Hmm.
so that there's some compatibility and competitiveness, among the young people on stage.
Hmm.
Uh, we don't want bullying on stage. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
you're Olympic champion, you don't go and run with somebody in the school, right? So we want to split that up. But otherwise, we call it the momentum of champions, right? You're a champion in your own right, in your own place. So everybody deserves a chance to win. And in our tertiary or so-called youth competitions, everybody goes back to with a medal, right? So everybody is a winner. So they are encouraged to keep going. Nobody likes to lose. So at least with that, it will encourage them. And it's proven positive because quite a lot of these younger kids were posting up their medals we found
Hmm.
new friends, So there was
Hmm.
more than one purpose of just competing on stage, but otherwise is to gear them and start them into a healthier and fitter lifestyle.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
So, and it,
So yeah, but otherwise, our nationals is supposed to be in October, but
hmm.
because the gym is closed for so long, it's going to be affecting their so-called physique standards.
Right.
So I don't know whether it will still be in October or it's going to be postponed to December because the national athletes will need to basically train in the gym in
Hmm.
order to maintain or improve.
Hmm. Okay.
So they are affected.
So, on an annual basis, your company organizes three major events. So, how do these events contribute to the Singapore sports scene at a time where there isn't a recognized governing body for bodybuilding and for sports physique?
Well, we have crowned Mr. Singapore. I mean, I was Mr. Singapore 2010
Yeah, this is your
during
10th anniversary.
SBBF time,
Hmm.
that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But otherwise, we crowned Mr. Singapore for the last 7 years. This year was supposed to be the eighth,
Hmm.
you know. But otherwise, we have been continuing the tradition of doing the competition. Just that now we have expanded it, giving more opportunities and more platforms for the athletes of different genre and standards basically to compete
Hmm.
on, you know. So at this point, of course, we will raise our own funds, we get sponsors to come in to basically pay for all the expenses, it's almost a hand to mouth kind of a thing going on right now for the last 7 years. But otherwise, we see an increase of 4 to 5 folds of people coming in. As you can see, there are more gyms today than 10 years ago.
Hmm.
That more people are actually in the gym training, more
Hmm.
people are fitter, which is why we have the different kind of competitions for different level of muscularity, right? So if you are a person who is down right there at this point where you look more like a fitness model, you join the one that is meant for a fitness model.
Hmm.
And for those who happen to genetically or been training for quite a while and gain quite a lot of muscle mass, they can go for the bodybuilding kind of event.
Hmm.
So we segregate our events in that sense, and I think one of the most popular competition is the Singapore Fitness Model Search,
Hmm.
whereby they not only go on stage in their posing suits, right, in their trunks or bikinis, but otherwise they also go with certain kind of a clothes, right?
Right.
Basically, you want the body to carry the clothes and not the clothes to carry the body or cover the body.
Hmm.
So it's between a pageant, but otherwise also a physique kind of a competition. So it's the best of both worlds.
Hmm.
And some people like to maintain it at that level. They don't want to go too big or too muscular.
Hmm.
So they want to take on a more athletic kind of a physique, like a sports physique.
Hmm.
Yeah. So the
Okay.
Singapore Fitness Model Search is meant for that.
Got it. Um, your name, Kevin Chuck, is synonymous with the sport of bodybuilding. I mean, going back more than 20 years, in 1996-97, you were Mr. Senior Manhunt. You
Yeah.
won that title. And then in 2007 to 2010, 4 years in a row, you won the National Bodybuilding Championships. And at the age of 44, Kevin, in 2010, you were crowned Mr. Singapore. All of this was when Singapore still had, like you said, the SBBF, Singapore Bodybuilding Federation. As a But even with the SBBF being around, and you were representing Singapore internationally, but you missed out on competing at the SEA Games. Is that a regret for you on your part?
Well, I'm a believer in dreams, and
Hmm.
of course, in the spirit of relentless fighting, kind of a spirit for champions, right? Whether I won it at the games or not, or whether winning it on a different stage, meant equally important to me.
Hmm.
You know, of course, the most vital objective is that this sport has taught me to win in life, right? Whether you're failing, succeeding, somewhat or other, it gives me the spirit, it trains me to keep on fighting.
Hmm.
I may not have gone to a SEA Games before, but otherwise, in this industry of mine, I'm still known as the champ. So regardless, I'm cool about it, not going to the SEA Games, but it would be great, of course, to have SEA Games in my collection of trophies and medals, but otherwise, life goes on.
Right. Hmm. Like I said, 4 years in a row, in your late 30s, you were able to win the National Bodybuilding Championships. How were you able to manage that? With all the young talent around and you being there to win four
Now,
years in a row.
you can call me a late boomer, right? But otherwise, I always dreamt of this chance to be standing at the top of the podium
Hmm.
and be crowned a champion athlete, of course. I've never been sporty when I was a younger person, in my teenage or whatsoever. I'm
Hmm.
the kind that would sit one corner and think that I'm never going to be good in sports. I'm not a very tall person. I can't play the basketball. When I play soccer, nobody wants to pass me the ball because I'll just stand there and don't know what to do with the ball, you know. But then again, I was a very skinny person, and then somebody encouraged me to go to the gym, build on some muscles, and as I built on, of course, by then I'm already a working adult,
Hmm.
so I never thought of sport, but it's always been in me that I always wanted to be that sportsman, and eventually I came on, and I use, of course, then my advantage of having a nice physique and to compete with it, and
Hmm.
that's where I started winning and making it really my sport, my business, and my hobby.
Hmm. Okay.
And
So,
I really do believe that a champion should not just hold a trophy on the day that he won, but otherwise a torch for the rest of his life.
it's very deep, man.
Yeah.
This is the 10th anniversary since you won Mr. Singapore at the age of 44. Kevin.
Ladies and gentlemen, contestant number 43, Kevin Chiak from the Fitness Force.
Confirm top 3.
Let's give it up, everybody. Kevin Chiak from the Fitness Force.
Looking back now, what is the lesson that you take away from that whole experience?
Well, 10 years, As a matter of fact, when I won it at the Greater Aya Theatre. And the theatre that's was just renovated recently. We actually planned to do it there. And I was even planning to do guest posing kind of a routine to mark so-called my 10th anniversary.
Oh,
But
okay.
unfortunately, all this has been,
Yeah,
yeah, it's
yeah.
disrupted,
Yep.
you know. But call it clairvoyance that I have. I can see myself winning it, along the way. So I persisted, and I'm pretty well known for my unbreakable spirit. I fail, I come back. I succeed, I come back, and obviously I will continue succeeding. So I can't do it today on stage. I'm glad to be able to be part of the people that can continue the sport and let people come on stage to do what I was doing or what they wanted to do.
So you won it in 2010. 3 years later, in 2013, your integrated fitness company, known as Fitness Movement, uh, continued the tradition of hosting this annual event. So there have been 7 Mr. Singapore winners since 2013. And I understand it was only last year that the women have also been included.
Oh, yeah, well, uh, initially I hesitated, because Miss Singapore was pretty much known as a title for
Beauty
pageant.
pageants.
Yeah, beauty pageants, right? But Mr. Singapore or Mr. Universe, so to speak, has always been the title for the ultimate bodybuilder.
Sure.
Yeah. So we can't change that. But otherwise, we can't change that. We might as well join in the game, right? So our female athletes work out just as hard. They diet just as hard, right? And some of them really look spectacular. So we thought they deserve an equal title. But otherwise, uh, we put Miss Singapore, but otherwise, if they are in the bikini category, then they will be known as Miss Singapore Bikini. So that will make difference.
Okay. So
But
what?
otherwise, now the trophy is just as tall, as big as the men's trophies.
Wow. Okay. Equality.
Yes, equality.
So besides Miss Singapore Bikini, is there another one? Miss Singapore.
Oh, Miss Singapore figure. So in the female categories, it goes also by the version of muscularity as well. So they will start bikini, figure, physique, and so on and so forth. But otherwise, in Singapore context, we are actually up to the level of figure, right? Most of them are at the bikini level, but I would see this change probably in the next 10 years as ladies become a little bit more affluent with the sporting scene.
Okay. Kevin, thank you very much for sharing with us, about your work from Ketopia to your gym, as well as fitness movement. So on a personal note, is during this circuit breaker period, were you reading a book? Were you watching a TV series, or is there a movie that you caught online that you'd like to share so that the folks watching this may be able to go and check it out for themselves?
Well, obviously, I watch quite a lot of movies on Netflix and on StarHub. Otherwise, like I said, I like to learn and read for pleasure. So there's this book that I'm reading right now. It's called The Negative Self-Talk and How to Change It by Shad Hemstetter,
Okay.
right? So it basically talks about people anticipating failure all the time. We expect failure. It's like a sure thing, But the problem is that when you keep practicing negative self-talk, so even when you don't know you're doing it, you're literally wiring your brain to fail, right? So the brain will just do that as it is wired to do so. So this is pretty good because it really stays out, and even for myself, right? I think like a champion, I fight like a champion, but there are times where I have this negative thought, right? How many times you need to decide things in a day? What you want to eat, what to eat, when to eat, to do next. And the worst thing is there's always a negative thought in our head. So this book teaches you to basically eradicate that.
Now, Kevin, looked through your Facebook profile, and I came across several photos where you seem to have a fascination for the Man of Steel, also known as Superman. So, what's the story behind that?
Well, I mean, when I was young, I watched a lot of Superman, right? I mean, he's always fighting for righteousness, for world peace. He is powerful. He's almost invincible. But obviously, everybody has got some weakness somehow. But otherwise, is his attitude and his character. What he is doing for the human race. So if I had a wish from any genie anywhere, who I would like to be, I would like to be Superman. He may not be real, right? But otherwise, in spirit wise, he is real to me. And I believe in this world there are lots of people who is like him as well, just without that super power.
You are already a Superman in the eyes of the cats that you are rescuing and looking after. So, well
Yeah, they
done.
have no choice.
And closing, Kevin, we are at the end of the 8 weeks of the circuit breaker measures. That doesn't mean that tomorrow, everybody goes crazy. We still have the 3 phases of recovery. So, what would you like to say to the Singaporeans who are watching this, or to your friends and family? Is there a message for them?
Well, I think without saying, in light of COVID-19, everybody knows it's a hard time right now. Sometimes it gets to your head and your heart, and you tend to be very despondent and depressed about it. So if I wish to say anything to my fellow Singaporeans and brothers and sisters, is that when life gives you 100 reasons to break down and cry, show life you have 100 reasons to smile and be happy, right? There is always a moment in your life that is happy. Remember those times. Don't keep reminding you of the bad times right now. See, that's negative thought. But otherwise, keep thinking of the good things. Unless you're really a totally born loser, but otherwise nobody is. There's definitely some successes, some victories in your life somewhere, somehow. Think of that again and bring it back.
The power of positivity.
Yeah.
Thank you. My guest today was a national athlete who represented Singapore in the sport of bodybuilding. Today, he's the owner of several business ventures, including a gym, as well as an integrated fitness company and a cat cafe. So, Kevin Chiak, thank you very much for allowing us into your home. We extend our love and regards to you and your family as well. And we wish you the very best and a speedy recovery to all your business ventures. Hopefully, everything is up and running by at least July onwards. So once that is all up and running, we will catch up. Thanks,
Right.
Kevin.
Thank you very much. Raj the man.
Thank you.